Before we start this video, I just want to briefly mention that only 21% of you are subscribed, so if you enjoy the content, please consider subscribing to help support the channel. Hey everyone, welcome to another installment of Harry Potter Theory. In today's video, we're going to be discussing MINERVA McGonagall. More specifically, I'm going to be discussing aspects of McGonagall's character that people who have only seen the films won't know. That's right, if you're a book reader, you probably know all of these. At least I hope so. But if you've only watched Harry Potter on the silver screen, you're in for a shock. Number 1, her duel with Voldemort. There are lots of epic duels in the Harry Potter story: the graveyard, the Ministry atrium, the Battle of Hogwarts, but as it turns out, there were some micro-battles that never got screen time. Most of the battles we witnessed in theatres were between either Voldemort and Harry or Voldemort and Dumbledore. McGonagall, a powerful witch in her own right, only really gets one duel in the films, and that's the brief one against Snape. However, with that said, McGonagall played a very large role in the Battle of Hogwarts, and without her, who knows what could have happened. After Molly Weasley kills Bellatrix Lestrange, Voldemort erupts and starts going crazy, challenging everyone in his path. It's during this battle that none other than McGonagall faces off against the Dark Lord, with a little help from Slughorn and Shacklebolt, that is. 2. She screams at Cornelius Fudge. Throughout the films, MINERVA McGonagall exudes a kind of stern confidence. She's a powerful witch, a strong proponent of the educational system, and, for the most part, she's in control of her emotions. Though she loses it on a few occasions throughout the story, there is one moment in particular that comes to mind when I think of angry McGonagall, and that's the time she blew up on Fudge. At the end of the Goblet of Fire, when Barty Crouch Jr. is revealed as an imposter, Fudge goes against Dumbledore's wishes and allows the Dementors to enter Hogwarts and kiss Barty Crouch Jr. Though Barty Crouch Jr. was, to some, deserving of this punishment, allowing Dementors to kiss a criminal is certainly morally questionable. After Barty Crouch Jr. is kissed, she screams more than Harry has ever seen her before, and doesn't relent. Harry hears her exchange with Fudge from his bed in the hospital wing. 3. She was attacked by Ministry of Magic auras. On Wednesday, the 17th of June, 1996, Umbridge and a team of 5 Ministry auras, including John Dawlish, set out of the castle to arrest Hagrid. When they arrived at Hagrid's hut, Hagrid didn't go quietly, and actually put up quite a battle with Dawlish, pleading for Hagrid to be reasonable, as his stunning spells bounced off of the giant. Eventually, McGonagall gets involved. "How dare you? How dare you? It's McGonagall. Leave him alone. Alone, I say. On what grounds are you attacking him? He has done nothing. Nothing to warrant such..." At this stage, McGonagall is shot in the chest with 4 simultaneous stunning spells, immobilizing her and subsequently sending her to the hospital wing at St. Mungo's for treatment. 4. Her relationship with Umbridge. During Umbridge's reign of terror, many sat idly by or even embraced her tyrannical regime. Think Filch. However, some certainly did not take her abuse in the slightest, and McGonagall was a perfect example of this. When Harry has a career meeting with McGonagall in Order of the Phoenix, Umbridge interrupts time and time again, explaining that Harry won't satisfy the requirements to become an Auror with his current Defense Against the Dark Arts performance. To this, McGonagall fires back that Harry's received high marks in all Defense Against Dark Arts tests set by a competent professor. Boom. 5. She screams when Harry dies. McGonagall is a tough lady, she really is, and her strength of character comes from, well, a pretty hard life. Maybe her life wasn't hard in every aspect, but if you look at her string of relationships and how they ended, it's pretty tragic, so it's no wonder she can manage a lot. However, in the Deathly Hallows, when she sees Hagrid carrying the lifeless body of Harry, she falls into complete despair and lets out a spine-chilling scream that echoes throughout the walls of Hogwarts. The scream was the more terrible because he had never expected or dreamed that Professor McGonagall could make such a sound. 6. The massive chess set. In the Philosopher's Stone, Harry and the trio are faced with all sorts of challenges on their way to prevent Voldemort from acquiring Nicholas Flamel's powerful artifact. Obstacle number 5 was the giant chess set, a magical obstruction put in place that required checkmating the enemy king to further advance through the challenges. The trio advanced through this challenge because of Ron, but it did divide the group, which was perhaps the intention of this challenge, separating people from any aid that they may have had thus far. It's later revealed that it was none other than McGonagall who brought the chess set to life, most likely via the spell Pietotum Locomotor, which we see her also use later on to enchant the Hogwarts statues. 7. She didn't approve of Sybil Trolloni. If you had to think of 2 professors that are total opposites, I wouldn't be surprised if you landed on Sybil Trolloni and MINERVA McGonagall. Trolloni, who teaches divination, represents spirituality and other less tangible ideologies. McGonagall, on the other hand, holds logic and reason in a very high regard, a no-nonsense sort of woman. With that said, it shouldn't be surprising for you to hear that McGonagall didn't approve of Trolloni, even though Trolloni always ended up being right. But that's another video. When McGonagall learns of Harry dying as a result of the Grim, she's quick to point out that Trolloni is full of it, and that he has absolutely nothing to worry about. She even jokes that she would let Harry off of homework if he dies. 8. Relationship with Neville. McGonagall is hard on the students of Hogwarts. She's a tough cookie, but that certainly doesn't mean that she doesn't care. Her relationship with Neville is a particularly interesting one as, especially as a young boy, Neville was exceedingly sensitive. McGonagall gives Neville some tough love on more than one occasion in the books, the most dramatic example being when she severely punished him for leaving the password to the Gryffindor Tower lying around. For this mistake, Neville got detention and was banned from Hogsmeade visits for the rest of the year. However, McGonagall was also highly protective of Neville, saying the following in response to Neville's grandmother's comments on his choice of newts, remarking that it's high time his grandmother learned to be proud of the grandson she's got, rather than the one she thinks she ought to have. 9. Amicus Carro spat at her. In the Deathly Hallows, after Snape becomes the new Hogwarts headmaster, some new, morally corrupt members of staff are hired in the form of Alecto and Amicus Carro. At a certain point, things begin kicking off in the Hogwarts castle, and Amicus sees his sister Alecto unconscious on the floor. This prompts him to begin blaming the students for the attack, to which McGonagall stands up and protests. To this, Amicus spits directly in McGonagall's face. This is the one instance in which Harry, completely enraged, was able to successfully use the Cruciatus Curse on someone. A true testament to Harry's level of rage. 10. She comforted Molly and Arthur Weasley. In the Chamber of Secrets, Ginny's life is in mortal danger. She's had a run-in with Tom Riddle and his diary, and things aren't looking good, which causes panic at the Weasley household. Fortunately for Ginny, she is eventually saved. However, being saved aside, Ginny went through something quite traumatic, and it took her a bit of time to resume normal life. McGonagall went out of her way to comfort both Molly and Arthur Weasley during that difficult time, revealing a softer side of the hardened McGonagall. She also explained to them that Lord Voldemort had forced Ginny into opening the chamber against her will. And that's it for this video. If you enjoyed the content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, remember, differences of habit and language are nothing at all if our aims are identical and our hearts are open.